Today I'm going to be showing you guys a sampling technique called the stack, where you can take any dry, simple vocal sample like this one here. Now you can take the sample and make a beat like this. As always guys, my drum kit is available to download in the description box below. All I ask is that you hit the like button. So to do this technique, first what we're going to need is a vocal sample that has a lot of movement in it melodically. As you guys can hear from this vocal sample, it's not just one note. She sings a whole bunch of different notes, so it's going to keep things melodically interesting. So this is the perfect type of sample for what we're trying to do here. If you'd like, you can chop up your vocal sample to rearrange it any way you want, really. I like the way this one sounds, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Next up, what we're going to do is start stacking our vocal layers underneath each other. So what you could do is just take the sample that you already have and just pitch this down 1200 cents and have them playing at the same time to create a harmony. Now what we have is two layers in our stack. The one that's pitched down 1200 cents, or an octave, and the original. But what I'm going to do instead actually is delete this layer here. I'm going to show you guys a secret that I like to do. So what we're going to do is open up an instance of Harmor, and we are going to go to the presets and select synthesis. Now as you can hear, it just sounds like any old synth, but what I like to do is something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is export this sample that I have, the sample loop, as a wave file. So now I have the original loop just as a wave. And now I'm going to get a little bit tricky. What I'm going to do is just drag this wave file into Harmor. What this is going to do is use all of the effects that Harmor used for that one particular synth and apply them to our sample. Hypothetically, you could use any preset and drag and drop your sample into here. I'm just going to use this one because I like the way it sounds. Now what I'm going to do is play this an octave lower, just like I did before. And now you can hear the difference between these two stacks. This one just sounds a little bit more interesting to me. If we play the original one here, sounds very dry, not very interesting, but the one that has the trick applied to it, the Harmor trick that I just showed you guys, it's just going to make for a smoother layer in our stack. Additionally, what you could do is go back into Harmor and click on the effects tab here. And now we can just start playing around with some of the effects here really quickly. We can add some more distortion if we want. We can apply some chorus effects, some reverb. I mean, that's the great part of this technique, where it just has a whole bunch of effects that you can quickly manipulate the sample with and just make it a lot more interesting and do whatever you want with it. Alright, so now that we have our two layers on top of each other in our stack, what we're going to want to do is start running some effects on top of each other in order to meld them together a little bit better. I'll start off with using an EQ just to roll off some of the frequencies that I'm not going to need, so some of the low end stuff and some of the really high end stuff. Next up, what I want is for the sample to take up a little bit more room in the beat, so I'm going to start adding some delay and some chorus on top. This is how it sounds after the delay and the chorus effects. It just sounds like it takes up a little bit more room in the beat. And now for the very important effect that's really going to make this sample shine is the M auto pitch. So this is a plugin that lets you do formant shifting. What I'm going to do is just take the formant shift and pitch it up about 7 semitones here. And you can hear it just adds so much more harmonics to the sample. It just makes it so much cooler. What we're doing right now is adding more layers into our stack. So we're creating more harmonics by pitching everything up 7 semitones. So we have our original stack as well as this formant stack. And when we put them all together, it just sounds super cool. Now for the rest of the beat, I'm going to start off with the bass line here and just play along with the sample. Next up, I'll add the drums and all the little effects just to fill out the beat a lot more. So as you see, I kept it pretty simple, just had a few drum layers, also some effects here and there. just because the sample is so dense and just so cool and interesting, I didn't really have to do much to this beat. Later on in the beat, I took the exact same stack and I removed the top layer, and I just replaced it with a sort of guitar lead, and I added some hi-hats just to make a switch up to keep things interesting. You can hear I still have that bottom layer of the stack still playing. That's what's so great about this technique. It just allows you to make a quick switch up like that and still have the beat sound full and interesting. And there you go, just using this one vocal sample, I was pretty much able to make a full beat using this technique. It's something that I like to do whenever I have a vocal sample that sounds really dry and sort of uninteresting. Using this technique just really helps you create something original and unique so quickly. If you found this technique interesting, please feel free to leave a comment down below if you plan on using it. If you got some vocal loops sitting around that you don't know what you want to exactly do with it, maybe this technique will help you out. Also, please feel free to download my drum kit in the description box below. Like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday.